Welcome back to the channel, I am Max Gray. Today it's gonna be all about the new Seether album, The Surface Seems So Far. I have to say that this album is different from what I was expecting, but did this album surprise me in a positive or negative way? That's what I'm gonna talk about in this video. So The Surface Seems So Far is the 9th studio LP by the band, if you consider Disclaimer and Disclaimer 2 as being two different albums. The new record was released by Fantasy Records, and the reviews I have seen are kind of all over the place. I have seen people say that this album is a great record, and in other reviews I have seen that other people have said that this album is pretty average. So I was interested to give it a listen and discover the record's worth. The album starts with the song Judas Mind, which is the first single from the album. That song has either a clean guitar or a low distortion guitar intro. Then it's followed by a bouncy nu metal riff. After that, you recognize the classic dynamic often used by the band, which consists of quieter verses and more energetic choruses. You can feel authentic emotion in Sean Morgan's singing, which is something I appreciate. An example is in the bridge, where there is a cool call and response effect between screams and clean vocals. All around, Judas Mind is a really good track, it's well done. The second song is Illusion, the record's second single. When I listened to that song, that's when I started to realize something about The Surface Seems So Far. It's that the new album goes in a direction that is a bit heavier than past releases by the band. The riffs and the vocals in this song and others on the album remind me a lot of the music by the band Deftones. I could see Chino Moreno sing and Stephen Carpenter play those riffs on that track. But I wouldn't call the similarities with Deftones as being a rip-off. I think that Seether still has a way to make the sound in this song and others on the album its own. Other tracks that display a heaviness for the band are Try to Heal and Paint the World. The harsh vocals at the end of the first are pretty robust, and the riff in the second have an ominous feel to them. The main riff in Paint the World could almost be a sludge metal riff, which is something that surprised me on a Seether album. The distortion guitar tone on those two songs, like the rest of The Surface Seems So Far, is a bit dirtier than the guitar tone on the majority of their previous albums. That's something that contributes positively to the heaviness of the album. And when I say heavy, I'm not talking like death metal heavy, I'm talking heavy for a band that plays in a style that is a blend of post-grunge, alternative metal, and modern hard rock. The production on the album is appropriate for the material. It's not too polished and it's not too raw, which fits the direction of the new LP. There are also some lighter moments in the record. The songs Semblance of Me and Walls Come Down are more pop than most songs on the LP, except for some screams. Those songs wouldn't be out of place on a Nickelback record, and I don't say that in a condescending or demeaning way. In addition to the two singles yet released from the album, another high point on The Surface Seems So Far is the track Dead on the Vine. I particularly like the mesmerizing vibe in this song, which is the result of the interaction between the rhythm guitar and the lead guitar parts. The lead guitar parts on the album are rather simple, but I think that they are really well adapted for that style and add another interesting element to the music. For me, there are two things from the album that could have been done better. First, most of the songs fall into the same verse, chorus, bridge mold and have about the same 4-minute length. The band could have tried to vary the song structure and the length of a couple of the tracks to bring more variety to the album. The second thing is that the LP has about 2 tracks that are weaker than the rest of the album. I wouldn't say that they are fillers, but they are definitely weaker. But in the end, I think that The Surface Seems So Far is a good album. I give it a score of 7.5 out of 10. It's not necessarily the best album Seether have ever released, but it's still a worthy addition to the discography of the band. What I wasn't expecting and what surprised me in a positive way is that the formation went in a direction that is heavier on this one compared to their past releases. Many riffs in this album are heavier than what the band usually plays, and the album incorporates a lot more screams or harsh vocals than previous releases. For a metal guy like me, I really enjoyed that progression, that direction the band has taken with their new record. Another element I like is that when you listen to the songs, you can hear an authenticity in Sean Morgan's voice. The emotion doesn't seem faked, it seems real. Morgan said in an interview that the album was recorded during the pandemic in a period where he felt rage, anger, and self-doubt, and you can hear that it influenced the album. If you discover Seether with this album and want to listen to more material by the band, I suggest that you give a listen to the album Karma and Effect. In my opinion, it's one of the best albums by the band, and it contains the classics Remedy and Truth. And if you want to discover another good release by a different band that plays in the post-grunge, alternative metal, and modern hard rock blend, I recommend the album Human by 3 Days Grace. To conclude, one cool thing about the Surface theme so far I didn't talk about earlier is that this album has on Apple Music a moving album cover, which reminds me of a GIF. That's the first time I have seen an album cover like this in my life. I don't know if it has a special name or if people just call this a moving album cover. I'm curious to know more about that topic. Have you ever seen another album with such a cover like this, a moving cover? So if so, feel free to write it down in the comments below. That's it for me for today. Thanks for watching. If you like album reviews, I encourage you to subscribe as there are many more reviews on the way. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot.